When we think of European monarchies, we remember France, Spain, Prussia, the UK, and all the major countries. Their royal families were boring compared to the Grimaldis, one of the most scandalous and interesting ruling families in history. The Monegasque royals were supposedly cursed, which made for even more fascinating stories. Rainier I of Monaco, the first sovereign Lord of Monaco, was supposedly cursed by a woman he had assaulted then had burned at the stake for witchcraft. While burning, she allegedly said that a Grimaldi would never find happiness in marriage. These unhappy princesses have had very captivating lives. Before becoming princes of Monaco, the rulers of Monaco were known as Lords of Monaco. Honoré II started off his reign as Lord but later became the first Prince of Monaco. After becoming prince, he married Ippolita Trivulzio. Ippolita was born in 1600 in Milan as the only daughter of the Count of Melzo and his wife, Caterina Gonzaga. Ippolita was raised in a convent and was described as demure, slim, dark-haired, a potential beauty and raised by nuns. Her brother married the Prince of Monaco's sister, and when it was time for Prince Honoré II to be married himself, Ippolita was seen as a good candidate. Unlike most future and past princesses, Ippolita had a happy marriage to Honoré, who was described as homely and domestic and was also not much older than her. Ippolita's role as princess was more demanding than that of her predecessors, so she appeared in public more often. Ippolita died on June 20th, 1638, around the age of 38. She and Honoré had one son, though he died before his father, so the throne passed to his son Louis. Louis married a French noblewoman named Catherine Charlotte de Gramont. Catherine Charlotte de Gramont was born in 1639 as the eldest daughter of the Duc de Gramont and his wife, a niece of the powerful Cardinal Richelieu. Catherine's brother was the lover of Philippe, Duc d'Orléans, then had a fling with his wife, Henrietta Anne Stuart. Catherine was educated at a prestigious convent with other noble girls. She fell in love with her cousin, Antonin, and they wished to wed, but Catherine's father did not allow it. They became lovers after that. In 1660, Catherine was married to Louis, Duke of Valentinois and heir to Monaco, to consolidate an alliance between France and Monaco against the Spanish. Catherine agreed since Antonin had refused to elope with her and she was getting old. Together they had 5 daughters and 2 sons, though the marriage turned out to be an unhappy one. She became Princess of Monaco 2 years later. Until then, she and Louis had been living in Paris, but now Catherine was forced to travel to Monaco against her will. Luckily, her lover Antonin accompanied her in disguise. A few years later, she and Louis returned to the French court. There, she was rumored to have had an affair with Henrietta Anne Stuart, to whom she was lady-in-waiting. She also had affairs with the Marquis de Villeroy, her cousin, the Duc de Lauzun, and the Duc de Guiche, all while continuing her affair with Antonin. Henrietta Anne Stuart encouraged her to start an affair with Louis XIV himself, to divert him from his official mistress, Louise de la Vallière. After Catherine, he moved on to the more famous Madame de Montespan. Catherine was described as greedy for pleasure and was nicknamed Catherine the Torrent. Catherine's downfall was her affair with the Chevalier de Lorraine, Henrietta Anne Stuart's husband's lover, whom she regarded as her greatest enemy. Henrietta had her exiled from court. Then Catherine's longtime lover, Antonin, married. Defeated, she returned to Monaco, but soon returned to France as a lady-in-waiting to Madame de Montespan, the king's mistress. Her health deteriorated and died a few years later, in Paris on June 4th, 1678, at the age of 39. Catherine's son, Antonio, married Marie of Lorraine. Born on August 12, 1674, she was the 9th of the 14 children of the Count and Countess of Armagnac. She married Antonio in 1688 at the age of 14. The court gossiped that this was a scheme by Louis XIV's mistress to get her out of the way, as she worried Marie would replace her if she remained unmarried. Marie, called the most likable woman in the kingdom, had a very unhappy marriage to Antonio, who regularly took mistresses. Marie knew exactly what to do, take lovers of her own. If he could, she should too. The Duc de Saint-Simon wrote of her. Her husband, very sensibly, realized that he hadn't the upper hand. Madame de Lafayette said that she was more of an elegant flirt than all of the ladies of the kingdom put together. Antonio made Marie return to Monaco, but a scandal arose when she claimed that her father-in-law was making unwanted sexual advances towards her. If it wasn't true, it was probably so Marie could have an excuse to go back to Paris. In Paris, she continued to take lovers, and her husband made dolls of them and mock-executed them. Louis XIV made the couple reconcile so they could have children. Marie had 6 daughters, and as it became clear she would not have a son, Antonio neglected his wife more and had many illegitimate children. In 1701, Marie and Antonio became Prince and Princess of Monaco. They lived separately but learned to tolerate each other. They did continue to argue over everything, including their eldest daughter Louise Hippolyte's marriage. Marie lived out the rest of her life quietly, dying on October 30th, 1724 at the age of 50, after arranging the marriages of her eldest 2 daughters, Louise Hippolyte and Margarita. As she had only daughters, her daughter Louise became Princess Regnant of Monaco. Louise Hippolyte was born on November 10, 1697, as the second daughter of Prince Antonio I of Monaco and Marie of Lorraine. Her older sister died the year before her birth, and her parents only had 4 more daughters, so Louise was the heir to the Principality of Monaco. Her father and King Louis XIV of France, since the Monegasque princes always had close relations with the French, decided that Louise would marry a man who would take her surname of Grimaldi and rule with her. Despite having to use Louise's surname, everyone was eager to become Prince of Monaco someday. Louis XIV and Antonio also agreed that the Duchy of Valentinois would be given to whomever Louise was married to. Her parents initially supported 2 different candidates, which led to another point to argue on between the already unhappy couple. Louise's mother, Marie, had her refuse her father's choice, resulting in Antonio sending her to a convent for 2 years. Marie returned to France, and through her, Antonio found out that the French did not like his candidate. So Marie suggested Jacques-François Gaillon, a French count, through a friend. Louise's father had wanted to marry her to another Grimaldi, but Louis XIV was eager for more French influence in Monaco, so he supported the match. The Grimaldis were in no position to refuse. At 18, Louise was married off to Jacques, and they became Duke and Duchess of Valentinois. After the marriage, Marie returned to Monaco, and Antonio learned that it was in fact Marie who had orchestrated the marriage to Jacques, so their relationship deteriorated further. Jacques and Louise did not want to be in the awkward situation of living near her quarreling parents, so they split their time between Versailles and Normandy. The marriage quickly became an unhappy one, however, as Jacques flaunted his mistresses and showed little concern for his wife. They had 9 children and 6 survived to adulthood, but that didn't do much to change the state of their marriage. Louise's mother died in 1724, leaving a large fortune for Louise. Soon after, in 1731, Louise's 71-year-old father died, leaving his throne to Louise. She traveled from Paris to Monaco without Jacques or their children. The people were more than accepting of Louise as their monarch. They loved her. Jacques, on the other hand, was much less popular, and the people weren't keen on having him rule alongside Princess Louise. Louise took the oath to become ruler of Monaco before Jacques could arrive. She then proclaimed that all orders and documents would be issued in her name, not her husband's or anyone else's. Jacques arrived a short while later, but Louise had already made it clear that she was ruling alone, so powerless Jacques returned to France. Louise was a powerful and popular ruler during her 7 months on the throne of Monaco. She died on December 29, 1731 at the age of 35 of smallpox. Her husband attempted to keep his power in Monaco, though he was very much disliked there and neglected the country. He wanted to be his son's regent until his minority ended, and his plan to keep power after that would be convincing his son to abdicate in favor of him, though Jacques was unsuccessful in this and soon abdicated in favor of his son, Honoré III of Monaco. Honoré married Maria Caterina Brignole from a wealthy Genoese family. Maria Caterina was born on October 7, 1737, to the Marquis of Grimaldi and the daughter of a Duke of Genoa. As her father was the French ambassador to Genoa, Maria Caterina spent most of her childhood in France. She was called the most beautiful woman in France. She fell in love with the Prince of Condé, Louis-Joseph de Bourbon, but her mother proposed her old lover as a husband for her daughter. Maria Caterina was married to Honoré III of Monaco when she was 18 and he was 17 years older. He needed an heir, and the very attractive young girl could give him one. He had already rejected several women, but Maria Caterina was beautiful and rich enough for Honoré to agree to be married. Her father wasn't happy with it, as he thought Maria Caterina's inheritance would go to Honoré, whom he didn't trust. Louis XV intervened though, and the marriage went ahead. They were married by proxy. There was a spot of drama when Maria Caterina's ship arrived at Monaco. Honoré did not come aboard to welcome his wife, saying his status as a monarch meant Maria Caterina should instead come and meet him. Maria Caterina's attendants said that she was a member of the ruling family of Genoa, so Honoré should come meet her instead. Her ship remained stranded for a few days until they agreed to meet halfway, quite literally on a bridge between the shore and Maria Caterina's ship. She and Honoré were originally happy and had 2 sons. They were initially described to have loved each other. Honoré soon returned to France, leaving Maria Caterina alone in Monaco, but said he would have her join him as soon as possible. In her letters to him, Maria Caterina called him "my dear love." She eventually joined her husband in France, where they lived until she got pregnant and returned to Monaco. After suffering a miscarriage, she noticed that her husband began to show less and less care for her. She wrote to him, "You are forgetting about me, dear love." She had a son, but her husband was not with her during the birth and did not come to her after. She didn't fit in at the French court, not wanting to paint her face like the other ladies. Without her husband, she grew close to the Prince of Condé, Louis de Bourbon, whom she had been in love with in her youth. When Honoré found out, he left his mistress in Normandy and came to Paris just to scold Maria Caterina. He began an affair with Louis, and he helped her obtain a legal separation from her husband in 1770, after which they began living together openly. Honoré finally accepted that he had lost Maria Caterina and lived out the rest of his life with his mistresses. Maria Caterina shocked Marie Antoinette, the new Queen of France, with her status as a separated woman living openly with her lover, and the Queen refused to receive her at court. She lived in France happily with Louis until the French Revolution broke out and they fled to Germany. During the French Revolution, the royal family of Monaco, Maria Caterina's family, were imprisoned and her daughter-in-law was executed. Honoré was released but died of natural causes. The throne of Monaco didn't exist anymore, leaving her son with just a title. She and Louis moved to Great Britain. They married soon after in 1798 but kept it a secret for a decade. Maria Caterina died in 1813 at the age of 75 in London. Next time, we'll meet a few happier princesses and 3 actresses who, unluckily and luckily for them, married princes of Monaco.